Hello, hello, team. This is Missy, and I wanted to come to you and make just a really pretty short video on Hostess Coaching. There are some great resources on the source in regards to Hostess Coaching, but there were just a couple things that I wanted to just give some tips on, some insight on to really help you guys maximize your activity, not only for this month, but every month as we move forward. Because really, booking the event, the party, whatever you call it, is only really half the effort. Keeping it is the other part of the effort that is required. So many times in my experience, I would book an event and then I just didn't do a great job of keeping enough tabs with the hostess. And so what would happen is, maybe a day or two before the party, I'd get a text like, hey, I think I need to reschedule. I don't have enough people coming, blah, blah, blah. And then you're kind of scrambling in those 48 hours in order to get enough people to come. And so what I want to just do in this training is really just kind of walk you through the process of what you want to be doing with your hostesses from the time that you book the event with them until after the event, what that's going to look like. Okay. So I'm going to try to keep time on the time so this doesn't get too long. But first of all, and a lot of these tips I got from other people, so they're not original to me. I just want to pass them on as your leader. But realize that people don't know how to have a successful party or a successful event. So you have to coach them in that. You also want to realize that this is a priority for you. More than likely, it is not a priority for them. So that's why you need to be having multiple touch points with them leading up to this event. Remember that people are busy. People forget. The people that they're going to invite are going to forget. And we want to be working with our hostesses to have multiple touches with the guests leading up to the event. Okay. So once you have penciled in a date with a host and you've got a confirmed time, make sure that you know exactly what that time is. Then you want to get them an invitation that they can send out immediately. What I like to do is I like to use the Red Stamp app. Arbonne has some pre-populated templates that you can use. I think they're visually very nice, and you can just put the information in there, and you want to text that to them really within about 24 hours of them booking the event for you. Okay, that's all that they need to send out immediately. You're going to have keep the text on the invite pretty short, but it can be something like it can just be some simple things like, please join us, or, let me actually see, I can pull some up to give you guys some exact verbiage of what I've done. But if they're healthy happy hours, or if they are launches, or if they are just parties. But this one that I use right now, and you can see this on there, I like that one. It just says, come and enjoy a pure, safe, beneficial, botanically based vegan spa quality facial and more at Kara's. You'll learn about healthy, toxin-free living from the inside out. And then I have the date, the time, and her address. So super simple. Okay, that's just all you want to put on there. If I do the healthy, happy one, which is this image, and I'm sure Arbonne will update these from time to time, but I just put now is your time to feel your best. Join us at this date, at this time, at Emily's home to learn about healthy living from the inside out with pure, safe, and beneficial products from Arbonne, and then her address. So that's what they want to be getting out. You want to be letting the host know that they really want to send this out to somewhere between 10 to 15 people. Okay, we ideally want to be getting in front of somewhere between 6 and 8 people at an event. If you only have 3 or 4 come, it's fine. It's still going to be successful, but you're going to be able to get more bookings out of bookings, meet more potential business partners, obviously help to get the host more sales if we get in front of more people. And so really, we want to just kind of maximize that time. We're going to, it's still going to require 90 minutes of our time, or right under 2 hours, to execute a party. So we might as well share it with 6 or 8, versus that 3 or 4. But if you can only get the 3 or 4, you still take it. Okay. And you let the hostess know that, but you get that image to them and you tell them, hey, text this out to 15 people ASAP. And then they're going to text that out. Okay. Then the second thing that I'm going to recommend that you do is you just, and this can all be done through text. It can also be done through phone calls. It really just depends on your preference, the age of your host, maybe their preference. I wouldn't do it through Facebook message because that's kind of easier to not avoid, but like ignore, not see. A lot of people don't see things on their Facebook Messenger as quickly as they do on their text. But just the second step is just saying, hey, I'm super excited for your event coming up on the 10th. I'd love for you to just write down the top 5 products that you would really love to be able to earn from your event, and have them get that to you. So send me your top 5 products. Why you want them to do this is so that you guys are both on the same page. If they're really set on earning the new RE9 set, then you know how to, just be business savvy and kind of help them do that. If you know they really want a 30 days to healthy living kit, you're going to do that. If they really love the makeup, so you're just going to have a better feel of kind of what gets them jazzed up. You want to do this so that as it gets close to the party, you can maybe incentivize them a little bit, either to get more people to come or get bookings out of bookings, things like that. Okay. So you want to get that from the host. Then what you also want to be doing is you want to either be getting them some samples, or you want to be getting them some products to try leading up to the party. If they've come to a party and they've booked with you for a party, yes, they got probably a facial experience or a nutrition experience, but you still want to get them products to their house. And then I like, to put in their products that maybe they didn't get to use, like the hairspray or just different things. You can just take what you have on your shelf, be willing to let them have it for a couple days. Don't leave it, don't drop it off a week before the party and leave it for them for a whole week. Just either drop it off a few days before the party or drop it off, pick it back up, if their party is a little bit further out. What that's going to do is, again, it's going to get them excited. They're going to be making that recommendation to their friends, like, oh my gosh, I loved the mascara, or, because there's a little sample size mascaras, or, oh my gosh, I'm crazy about the skincare, or I loved the nutrition. Whatever it is, they're going to be validating at the party, versus you having a host who's like, oh, I just haven't used it. I don't really know. I'm just doing a favor for my friend Missy, but I don't know. Or I use this other skincare company, or I buy my nutrition at Kroger. You want to get them trying and using the products, get them excited. The more excited that they are to earn product, the more they're going to be partnering with you to get people to their event. Okay. So then what you want to do is you want to just tell them, hey, how are the responses coming? Finding out from them who's coming. If they're like, oh, I've texted it out to 15, 20 people and I've got 2 yeses and 3 nos. Okay, well then there's 10 that they haven't heard from. So what they need to do then is you want to send them a pre-populated text. You can come up with something super simple, and it'll just be, hey, really excited for my event on the 10th. I'm loving these products, or I love what I've tried so far. Excited to share them with you. Will you be able to join us? And just assuming that they're coming, like will you be able to join us? Or I'm looking forward to, you can come, right? Things like that, versus do you think you'll be able to make it or not? So that you can, just drive more response. If people start saying, yep, I can come, then make sure that you're letting the hostess, know that they can bring a friend. If they bring a friend, what I do is I always have some little gifts with me, so that if somebody brings a friend, they get a free gift from me. They're super cheap and simple things that you can do. I've gotten stuff at the dollar Target spot. You can give away, I don't typically give away samples because I want them to make a purchase that night at the party, but I'll just give away a pack of little thank you cards or note cards from the dollar spot, or a fun little water bottle, maybe with a fizz in it or something like that. Go to the dollar store, go to the Target spot, spend 10, 15 bucks and just put some together. Do that at one time, just so every party you're not having to run to Target and buy 2 or 3 things to take. But that way, you can turn your party potentially that has 4 or 5 yeses into 4 or 5 yeses, and now 2 guests came in and they're totally from out, somewhere way out. You'll be able to really kind of maximize that market. So working with the hostess. Then what I would also have them do, send that text, or even have them give a personal phone call. And you just really want to be working with that host to give that host you're going to be touching, giving her multiple touches or him multiple touches, and then you're coaching them to have multiple touches with their guests. And then what you want to do is, probably 48 hours or 24 hours before the event, just send them a quick little text that say, send this out to all of your yeses, or all of your babies, and just say, hey, super excited for the event tomorrow night. So glad that you can come. Looking forward to having you. Something like that. And send that to the maybes, looking forward to having, because we're going to assume that if they're a maybe, they're a yes. They're as much of a yes as they are a no if they're in that maybe category. If they're getting people that are no's in like, hey, I can't come, you can, I'm going to tell you what to do with those people. But just giving those hostesses multiple touches and leading up to that event. You don't want to book a party. Like today's the 5th, you don't want to book a party for next week, the 13th. And then the host doesn't hear from you till the 12th. More than likely, they're going to cancel on you, or it's not going to be a good event, or a mom and a neighbor who's maybe a dud are going to show up, and you're going to be like, this didn't feel very productive, or this was kind of not worth my time. And then it's going to be harder to get them their host rewards. Okay. Every time you can help a host get $300-$400 of product in their hand at 80% off, all it does is it gets you a great customer, which is potentially going to lead to a business partner. But it also they want to tell people, like, I had a Norwex party and I earned a buttload of products, like ridiculous amount of products for next to nothing. And I was certainly happy to tell people to go host, and have since then, because if you want the product, why not host? It's less than 2 hours of your time. It's fun. Right now we're moving into summer. So right now it's June 5th. If you're watching this and it's, maybe dated. So it's June 5th, 2017, do some things we heard on a training, but with Heidi Niss, of like salsa and sangria, where every guest brings a salsa and you do some salsa tasting and you supply the sangria, or you can do masks and mimosas, or you can do some like facials on a deck, or, just kind of make it fun and summery. You don't always have to do that, but you can do that if you find that that'll get more people to host for you or be on board with that. Okay, so you want to have these multiple touches with the host. So now when you're going into the party, the 5 things that the host really wants. So you're going to do, a really great job at following the script, executing the event, building great relationship with the host. That's what you're doing at the Salt Scrub, is you're asking questions, you're getting to know them a little bit. And then when you go to the close, this is important. Okay, so when you take your guests to the close, you're going to kind of have a little space to the side where you're doing the close, and you just let them know, like it says in the card, I want to meet with everybody, whether or not you plan to order tonight, get your guest profile sheet, answer any questions that you have. If you want to sample the Genius pads on the back of their hand, you can do that, or you can, maybe match them a little bit with the foundation. So you want to do that at the checkout. You don't want to get so far removed from the group that you kind of can't hear the conversation or the chatter. So if they're in a living room, just stay a little bit maybe to the side. You can pull 2 chairs together. If it's a dining room, living room kind of combination, you can just find a spot that's close, so that you can have like a checkout process. Okay. So you want to be able to do that. And in that, you're going to be getting the order. You're going to be identifying people that you want to have, take for a coffee appointment. And then you also are going to have people that you're going to be asking to host. There was a great recommendation on a training that I just heard from Heidi Niss, where she works to get 4 parties out of every event. So again, if you've got 7 or 8 people there, you're going to be able to get 4 parties out of it. And what she tells people is, hey, Susie, who's the host, if we can get 4 parties for her booked out of this event, she actually gets to earn the whole RE9 set for free. And then at your event, I'm going to go to work just like I'm working with her and get you as much stuff as possible. Or if that gal's, big thing is like the 30 days to healthy living, you just twist it a little bit and you say, hey, if we can get 4 events booked out of tonight, Susie's actually going to get the full 30 days to healthy living for free. Okay. And you might be wondering, well, how do you do that without it costing you a lot of money? And what you do is you get her that set. Let's use the RE9 set. You're going to use that after the 4 parties have been executed. So after party number 1, you put in the orders, you're going to get that her host rewards, but the commissions that you'll make off of that, you just use some of that and you buy maybe the face wash and the toner. The second party, you buy the eye cream and the serum. The third party, you buy the day cream. The last party, you maybe get the Genius pads and the night cream, whatever. So all 4 of those parties have to hold in order for Susie to get the RE9 set. What that's going to do is that's going to really help them hold the event. It's also going to continue to involve Susie in this process so that if her 4th friend, you can't get a hold of her and she's not calling you back and you're like, hey, Susie, Lindsay, I can't get a hold of her and she's your 4th party, so that we can get you that RE9 set. Like, hey, would you mind to reach out to her? Because I really want to help you get that set. But if we don't have the party, I can't give it to you. And, then if she's like, oh, Lindsay's sick or her kids are sick, she can't do it. Then, Susie will say, well, could I get my friend Missy to host for you? Or could I host another party for you or whatever? And what that'll do is that'll just ensure that the bookings hold. And my goodness, you all, if we're getting 4 bookings out of a booking, think about what, kind of growth and how that's going to move you into that stranger market very quickly in this business. Okay. So that's just a tip. You don't have to do that. But that's just I loved that tip from Heidi Niss. And she's built a gigantic business, super successful. So, I'm going to take nuggets from super successful people that are doing what I want to do, and just share it. So you want to be getting bookings. When you go into an event, the first priority is you want to identify a potential consultant. You want to book at least 1 to 2 coffee appointments, okay? The second thing is you want to get 2 to 4 bookings. The third is the sales. If you're consistently leaving parties with sales and no bookings, and no coffee appointments, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're making this business a lot harder on yourself, because every party that gets executed, if you're not replacing it, you're just forcing yourself to go back onto the phone, back into your own market to find somebody to host. When you're getting bookings out of bookings, you're in other people's markets. Okay. So you don't have to call your friends. You don't have to call your small group girls. You don't have to call your neighbors. You're getting bookings from people you don't know, which is moving you into that acquaintance and stranger market, which is where you build the largest business. Okay. So when you're leaving parties and you're like, oh, I had 600 in sales and 3 PCs, but you have no bookings and no coffee appointments, it's not really as successful as you think that it is. You really want to be having the coffee appointments, getting the bookings, and then the sales will come from that. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to tell you guys is you want to, as Lisa Voorhees says, take everything out to its best possible conclusion. So what I do in order to just continue to maximize this event, continue to build and expand my market, continue to help this hostess get more product, is I always ask the host if there are 2 people that could not come. And if she's like, oh, I got actually like 3, you kind of just play with it how you want. Again, be business savvy. But I typically will say, hey, I just so appreciate you hosting. And I know that you had people that you invited that couldn't come. I know, we were chatting and you invited 15 and, we had 7, which was awesome, but that leaves that there's 8, that didn't come. Out of those that couldn't come, who do you think would be like the top 2 that you think would love to hear a little bit more about Arbonne or try some samples? Because what I want to offer you, and you do it from this place of like, you're kind of doing her a favor. You're just saying, I would love to offer you for me to be able to sample, just 2 of the people that couldn't come with some products of their choice, just so that because they missed out on tonight. If they decide that they want to order any product, the sales from that sampling will still go to your event to continue to help with your rewards. So do you have just 2 friends? And if they're like, oh yeah, Kim and Molly will do it, or they would love to, or I know Kim really wanted to come, but her son had a birthday party, or Molly really wanted to come, but her in-laws were in town, or whatever it is, or they had to work or whatever, or they're on vacation because it's summertime. Then you say, awesome. Hey, right now I'm going to send you this pre-populated text. Would you pass it on to them? And what the pre-populated text is, it just says, hey, Molly, this is Emily or Susie, whoever your hostess is, or, she doesn't have to say that, but just, hey, Molly, I'm so sorry that you missed the Arbonne party tonight. We had an awesome time. My friend Missy, who's the Arbonne consultant, is offering 2 people that couldn't come the chance to sample some products and hear a little bit more. Are you okay if I pass your name and number along to her, and she'll be reaching out? Every time I've done that, no one has ever said, sorry, my head is itchy. No one has ever said, like, no, I'm not interested, because the host already has kind of filtered that out for you. So if they, they already know probably the top 2 or 3 people that are going to be responsive in a positive way to that. So when I do that, then I reach out to them and I either I typically set up like a 20-minute coffee appointment with them, either at their house or like at a Starbucks, to get them samples. And I'd love to just share a little bit with you what makes the products different that you're going to sample. When I've done that, you all, it's led to business partners. It has led to hosts, and it has led to sales in my business. Consistently. And so that's just another way you can take everything out to its best possible conclusion and just maximize these events. Okay. So I wanted to share that because we're going to put in the work to book the calendar, but then you have to keep your hand to it. You have to continue to build a relationship so that you can be executing these events. It will do your business no good if you go and you book 8 or 10 events for June, but you only execute 2 or 3, because that's just not enough. And, we're just in a season where I'm just going to be telling you guys the truth. And not that I wasn't telling you the truth before, but if you're wanting to grow this business to the area manager or VP level, where you're actually going to be making money that is going to make a difference in your budget and feel like you're being successful in this business, you've got to get in front of 30 to 40 people in a month. You can do that all in 20-minute appointments, but I'm going to just really recommend that you do them with a mix of 20-minute appointments and events or parties, because that's growing this market. It's expanding it. When you only do the 20-minute appointments, you have to then ask for referrals so you continue to grow your market, or you'll run out of people. Doesn't mean you really run out of people. It just, the events really feed your market and they continue to get you in that acquaintance and stranger market. Okay. So that's what I wanted to train you all on with Hostess Coaching, because it's super important. Because I think, many times when people don't hold their events with us, it's because we could have done something better. We could have coached them a little bit better. We could have kept better tabs on them and gotten them more excited, more invested, more willing to kind of work with us on it in order to make it successful for them, which in turn makes it successful for us. So hope that was helpful.